What's happening, everybody? Welcome to AMKA Podcast. There is a lot of good news stories and the bad stories. Um, this year, like this time, this clip has been trended on TikTok, and it's very sad. This is the headline says this is heartbreaking, guys. Look how Zimbabwean pregnant woman being harassed by a South African woman. Kalalong Hospital. What is Kalalong Hospital? I don't know. Tell us where is Kalalong Hospital. I believe in somewhere in the mid South Africa. And this is what happened. A clip you're gonna see.
Why are you running to the toilet, my sister? Yeah?
I'll be like a phone.
I will like any tongues. Sisters, we're talking to you. Switch off the phone. We're talking to you. We're talking to you. Switch off the phone.
Are you here? Can you come closer?
Come closer. We don't want to shout.
The ambulances are passing there. We don't want to disturb
Me,
them.
I'm Oscar. Me, I'm Maureen. Come on.
South Africa is for the baby makers. You always come to South Africa to make babies. What? Why did you run away? You make babies. What? Sister, when you were checking in the ward, when did you run away?
In the toilet. Why?
Why? Even now, she ran again. She said, I'm coming, I'm going to the bathroom. Toilet. She's gone. Now,
Why you
can
doing
we
that?
have our
You think we are playing?
Can we have our medication? The one they gave. You did what?
There's no way they don't give you.
What were you doing inside there? They helped you again.
No.
That's already mad. You had blood. Where did you take them to? Because since you went to the
So you didn't get any medication, folic acid medication, nothing.
And then how much is the blood test?
Did you pay?
How much?
Did you pay? The blood? You know, it's how much?
Actually, oh my goodness. This is actually too much. You might be South African, Zimbabwean, I know, Rwandan, Namibian, Angolan, Congolese, Nigerian, American, UK, Canada. I know I have a lot of people from different countries in my on my YouTube. This is kind of shocking. Like, I don't understand. These people, they are not police officers. They are not immigrations. They are not officials at all. They are not nurses. They are just individual. Like, this is somebody from Zimbabwe because she's pregnant. She can't articulate English properly or any South African language, and started to interrogating her like, why is she coming out of the hospital? Where is she from? And why is she pregnant? Why the Zimbabwean community always wanted to give birth in South Africa? And I do believe this is a bit wrong from Zimbabwe, but I'm not gonna judge anybody from Zimbabwe because they are in South Africa. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I can't do that, because it's valid. If you go to America, you find a lot of people from Colombia. You find a lot of people from Jamaica, Cuba. You find a lot of people from Mexico. If you're going to Germany, you find a lot of people from Austria, Poland. You find Turkey, Syria. I've had a friend from Germany that was complaining and said that Germany is now full of people from outside. No more Germans are being born in Germany, and there is a free education. Whether you are foreign, whether you are a German, you have to be educated by the German. Now, in South Africa, there is a free care system in South Africa. Last time, Mackenzie was discussing about illegal foreign Africans should not get treated anymore. He didn't mention illegal foreigners from other European countries, Asia or South America and stuff like that. I mean, the hatred, it's really, really shouldn't be like that. Um, in South Africa, black among blacks, because I always laugh about this. Uh, I know she can't defend herself. She's like alone over like 5 women. And then, women, they are very dramatic. How could you just asking me, how did I get the medication? And while I know, they know she's coming from the clinic, from the hospital. Some people are defending this, some people are not defending this, but I know those educated South Africans, they never had time for this because this is totally a bullshit. And this is what always causing xenophobia in South Africa. Why would you hate somebody? Like, okay, somebody is illegal in the country. That's not really your problem. It's a government problem, right? Because government has all the resources to do care about that. That's not your problem. This is not your country. This is a country that you are living in. You don't own the country. You are a citizen of the country. You were born in a country. A lot of people can be born in the country, right? That does not mean you're gonna have the audacity of stopping people from going to the hospital. Stopping you are not, because that job is not assigned to you. There is immigration, law enforcement, policemen, home affairs. There is a lot of things. So this lady here, she just says Zimbabwe government must do something. I do believe that because last year Zimbabwe had almost 3 million travelers to South Africa, which is it's very bad. And I do understand. Once again, I've been in Zimbabwe. I do understand the economy is very worse. Is very very worse. And this lady said here, my grandmother was on the floor at Poch Hospital while foreign are on beds. Mahambe Ababantu man. Yeah. That doesn't change anything. If your grandmother, she came after the people were there in the hospital, I believe South Africa is one of the country with the law of queuing. They come precipitating you to take in somebody else's place while it's not an emergency. So we are really sorry for the grandmother. She didn't got anything, and this is again the hospital, because it's a free care system. Therefore, all the taxes that people are paying, they're going to buy the bed in the hospital and stuff like that. So this is what happened, and then they were very very it was bad. I can't even try to let me try to finish the video and see.
You know how much just for
7.
No, the blood test that you do.
I'm asking 7. And some of the questions are
okay. You know how much for blood test? To take blood test, it's more than 10,000 something here in South Africa. Go to the private dog, clinic or any dog. Well, now you do medical blood test for Mahala in our country. You know, we pay tax.
Is Zimbabwe paying South African government for your healthcare?
Sorry.
Mnangagwa is not paying or by South African by association of people. I better keep brothers to sisters. That's
Does Zimbabwe pay South African money for your health care? Hey. Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't have any answer anymore. Maybe you guys can tell me something in the comment below. But I'm gonna play this. Please let me know what do you think in the comment below. If South Africans should react like this. Once again, this is not about all South Africa. It's for some individuals, and these are the people that always portray people in a wrong way outside of the country. Because once this is going to trend, you know what's going to happen to the entire African continent or outside of Africa. People will label people about xenophobic behavior. You know what I'm saying? Once again, let me know in the comment, what do you think? It's really crazy.
If you think this country belongs to you because you've got an ID and because you put a cross on a piece of paper and you happen to earn crumbs, every month you collect 370 grant and your child collects 500 and whatever it is today, child grant.
By the way, this is the Black Pain, the Painwell, one of my favorite podcasts in South Africa. He talks more about foreign affairs, political, geopolitical affairs, and people don't like this guy. I know personally a lot of people don't like him because he's not putting himself in the position of supporting every behavior, right? And I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna have another person where many South Africans don't like because once again, he doesn't think like the typical people from the country. So this is the Penwell. A lot of people hate Penwell, but for me, when he speaks, I'm not agreeing with everything. Nobody knows everything, but at least he tries to make sense because he's trying to see the good both sides, outside of the country and inside the country, right? And not just being biased.
And your child gets taught to be a servant in a free school, and you get to be injected with all types of pharmaceutical bullshit in a free clinic. You think that should make you a patriot and fight against foreigners and fight for this country and bleed? Or you have a nice job. You're that slave with the gold chains. You're like, nah, I know we're slaves, but I get to sleep in the house. And, I know your chains are made of copper. Nigga, I got gold chains, homie. My chains are made of gold. Still a chain, homie. You're swimming in debt. You're one salary away from your house being repossessed.
I got gold chain, homie. Oh, one of the shock of the things when I came to South Africa, that was back in 2012, and so everything is being given for credit. And I thought that was a good thing back then because where I come from in Congo, there is not that system there where you can get things on loan, on credit, right? Even when you pay your rent in Congo, you're going to have to advance. We call it guarantee, like you're going to have to pay at least 6 months straight, like straight away, 6 months. It's not going to be here, you're going to pay month to month, and then you're going to have to pay first deposit. There, it's not like that. There, you're going to have to pay 6 months straight away. So if you started to rent in January, that means you're going to pay January up to June. That's like 6 months. And then when your guarantee is finished, then you're going to have to top one more. That's going to be another 6 months. It's not similar to here, like you pay month to month. It doesn't exist. When you go buy a car, you go to buy a car cash. Credit is not really like our system, but I know it's facilitating people to get stuff easily. But that easiest method of getting stuff puts a lot of people into credit, and then that's the biggest trap when you are into credit, and then you're gonna die with debt, credits. You don't know how you're gonna get out of those debts and credits. And then you find people in South Africa, they got Markhams, Fuchini, all those biggest brand, like you have a card because once your score is like on 80, then they give you free stuff. So you started to pay monthly. Whether you get paid 100,000 rand and then you got a mortgage of like 22,000 rand, that's gonna be 78,000 rand left, and then your kid goes to school, your groceries. I mean, your expenses and bills and stuff like that. You're just gonna find out yourself like there's no more money, and that's the biggest trap. So if you do that in South Africa, please, I'm begging you, start for me. Start saving your money. Start buying the necessary things. And if you want to learn more, just go read Rich Dad and Poor Dad. He's teaching us how to avoid those kind of carrots. In the book, he's calling them carrots because they're kind of sweet and, they're pleasing you. But something that pleasing you really doesn't bring any self-development into your life, right? So I like the Penwell so much because he talks so much about this.
One salary away from your car being repossessed. One salary away from your children being kicked out of their private school. Your medical aid being cancelled. Your fancy little life being taken away from you. You are a slave to the same system. And Rupert doesn't care about medical aid. He owns Mediclinic. Adrian Gore doesn't care about medical aid. He owns Discovery. These guys can go anywhere they want and do whatever they want. These are the people that actually are the real players in this country. The rest of us are just, like I said, tenants and residents in a complex that is not even our own. That's very important for as many people as possible to understand, so that you can start moving in the right direction. And more importantly, so that you can have peace. So many people get worked up listening to politicians argue and bicker. And we get on social media and we dispute and debate and argue with each other and we swear at each other and there's racism. At the end of the day, this country does not belong to us. It belongs to big business. And the government, it's just a governance system, security guards on behalf of big business. And their other job as security guards is to run a little charity foundation on the side, an orphanage, what we call social welfare, for the poorest majority. Here's a free grant, here's free schooling, here's free healthcare, here's a free little house, so that you don't make too much noise. Because it's cheaper to give you this than to give you a decent job. It's cheaper to give you this than to give you access to real land and real skills. It's cheaper to give you.
So if I'm reading the comments here, this is what the first lady says. She's Mara, she's white. This land belongs to God that created it. As well as all human beings have the right to live where they want to live. Why fighting over land that belongs to God? And Mara has 178 likes. She got 78 replies. This is 22 hours ago. And Orina Manchi said, this is our country and we will fight for it. And yeah, well, that's true. You got to fight for your country. I do agree with you. But that doesn't mean like you have to discriminate other people, because the country is not your own country. It's not your father's country. it's belong to the state, the entire nation, right? What is he saying, Mr. Afrifara? Hamba kini eZimbabwe wena unga zizonyela. Okay, so the guy is chasing him. He can go to Zimbabwe. This is a guy from Zimbabwe who says, this is blessing brilliant. In Zimbabwe, you see me with a new car, it's mine. You see me with a house, I built it myself. Thumbs up, Zim, and stuff like that. Yeah. So let's see what now this guy has to say.
The best thing you can do right now, if you're black and you're watching this, is apply for a passport, please, and start using it. You know, that's one of the weaknesses of South Africa, and that's why there's so much Xeno.
Yeah, because people don't travel.
Hey, they don't know what exists beyond the. Heck, they don't know more. I've met South Africans who don't know who've never been to Durban.
Believe me, you are South African watching this. Believe me. People that come from Nigeria, they migrated from West Africa to Southern Africa. Believe me, they have the knowledge of West Africa and they come to Southern Africa to learn about Southern Africans. That's like two cultural background already. And if you are in South Africa, you have one. They beat you on life expectancy. Life experience. They beat you, right? Whether you believe it or not, that's true. You cannot deny it, right? When we're talking about traveling, it's not like a traveling is going to give you everything that you always wanted to have, but it's gonna help and open your mind, and that mindset of being mind opened, it's gonna help you to be somewhere where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? So the feeling of just being a foreigner in another country, it's already a huge responsibility. And I don't think that there is plenty of those people in South Africa. They are, but not plenty. Like, I'm talking about the average South Africans and stuff like that, right? Back in the days, I had a friend who was criticizing foreigners and stuff like that. And then they had to go to America for 2 years. After going to America, they find themselves that they were isolated because they had no other people to speak their own language. And they meet up with some other bunch of foreigners, like Africans and all the entire world. They became friends. The moment those people came back to South Africa, I'm going to be honest with you, the perspective of how they see things changed, right? So if you are a South African watching this, Zimbabwean watching this, Nigerian, Congolese, because I do believe we all behave in the sort of how our country raised us. And when you go outside of your country, you find something that's different from your country. And that's the beauty of developing yourself, elaborating, and see how other people are living and understanding, right? A lot of people always talking about why are you here in South Africa and stuff like that. But I leave that question for other people to go and explore it. Once you go outside, you're going to understand why some people are here. Albert Einstein, the genius Albert Einstein, was a Jew immigrant who was born in Germany. And the list is going on and on. Mark Zuckerberg, his parents, they migrated to America long time ago. And the list goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. Zinedine Zidane, one of the biggest footballer in our history, migrated to France, his parents, and he was born to Marseille. Today, he goes down one of the best footballers of all time, right? So if you keep on asking yourself that question, I think the only best answer you can get is for you to travel and understanding things. That's it.
To Joburg, and they fear coming to Johannesburg. As someone who comes from KZN.
Now think of, what do you think? Do you think we're not scared when we cross a border to go to another country? Do you think that people are just like, yay, we're going? No. It's the scariest experience. When I was 21, jumping onto a plane, going to a different country where I know no one, I don't know what they eat. It's scary. But that's how also wealth is created, by traveling.
Sure.
Money knows no borders.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason why we don't know how much money they stole from Africa is because we've never been to their countries.
To see how well they.
Hey, go see that little island called UK. You cry. Little island, rocks. They don't even have animals. But the wealth, scary.
We used to be a traveling people. If you think of
as Africans, we were.
Just from a natural perspective, you'd always go to fertile earth, always go to where the water's flowing.
We're nomads.
But now it's like you're stuck, and it's almost like you're frowned upon for even moving.
Yeah, you're frowned upon for even suggesting you want to move.
Yeah, to fertile earth.
Africa, we used to be nomad. Everybody knows this. We migrated from region to another. The Bantu started from Niger, Congo, the Akans in Ghana, the Fulani in Senegal, and Mali and other places in Africa. All right, the Soninke people. And then you find the Dinka and the Maasai in Eastern Africa. You know what I'm saying? You find the Kemits in Egypt. You go down, you find the Khoi and the Bantu in the Southern Africa. You know what I'm saying? So Africa belongs to us, bro. Like, these things about blah, blah, blah. I always tell people, trying to make first your DNA before you started to judge people. And many people always fail to answer that question. Let me know in the comment below, why is it has to be like this, like discriminating another person just because they are in your country? Why it has to be like that? Why? Especially in Africa. Like, man, like, this is really crazy. Let me watch the last clip and then...
If you chase away your 100 bit,
yeah,
is a good example. Who suffers the most?
Sure, because it's very nice for us to laugh and clap hands and let's say Abelungu say we're leaving. And the question is, who does suffer the most?
And by the way, I don't have to answer that question. The answer to that question is study history. Just go next door to Zimbabwe and see what happens when you do that.
Some of the smarter... Sorry.
And by the way, and if you think we are, I don't know, different, we're not.
Sure.
The average Zimbabwean on a literacy level, you and I both will agree, outshines the average South African
100%.
because their education system is so good.
Sure.
So what do you think happens if the impact is the same, but the quality of education is not even the same? And, you know, everything that's happened south of Central Africa, people migrate south. Where's our south? If you chase away your 100 bit,
yeah,
as a good example,
Yeah.
who suffers the most?
this is most controversial person in South Africa, and they hate him so much, but he dropped knowledge. Msanzi, let me know what do you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. All right? Ciao.